right? They've always had people just buoying them up to make sure that they succeed. But if they have a little bit of taste of failure, then they really appreciate the side of success. And it makes them strive, or at least that's what I've seen with my kids, it makes them strive a little bit more. So we can say that about our emotions too. Can I feel joy without sorrow? Can I feel elation without a little bit of worry? Can I feel love without dislike? Now, the thing I'm definitely not saying is don't go over to the dislike and live there, right? What I'm saying is allow those emotions because they do come up for us. We're human beings. We're relative people. Allow it to come through. Let it go. But allow that to teach us a lesson about what love really is. So when we live in that relative as balance, then what we're saying is we recognize both sides of the emotions and we choose to live in the middle. So that's the second law. So we have the first one, this too will pass. The second one, everything is relative. And now the third law of balance is let it go and move on. So Albert Einstein said, he's one of my favorite people. You know, as a physicist, I just love Albert. He said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. And I love bicycle riding. I got a bicycle story for you. 9 years ago, the summer that I adopted my youngest one, he was 6 years old when we adopted him, I did the AIDS ride. And that's a 565-mile ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles in 7 days. And you can do the math, but I'll do it for you. It averages 80 miles a day bike ride. And some of the days are over 100 miles because they take the Wednesday, the middle of the week, to let you cover a little bit, and you only ride about 40 miles. And one of those days, the Tuesday of the ride, we started on Sunday. The Tuesday of the ride, we were out in the middle of this flat farmland. And there we were with fields on either side on these country roads where the speed limit on those roads is about 55 miles an hour. The cars just go whizzing by. And what I realized, I was riding with two of my friends, so it was the three of us riding in a straight line, going down the road, having a good time, but we had a really significant crosswind, meaning that instead of blowing in our face or pushing us along behind, it was blowing us to the side. And it was coming from my right, and so I recognized after a while of riding behind my two friends that they were riding like this. Because it was about 20 miles an hour. It was a good blow. And you have to ride, kind of leaned over, or you'll end up riding out into the road. And that was okay. You got used to it. We got used to it. But there would be these trucks that would go by us. And we would have these hay trucks that would come up. And as they came up and they were right next to us, well, they would block the wind. And so instead of being like this, you all of a sudden had to kind of come up to the middle. Until they went past. And then the wind off of the truck, which was blowing the opposite way, would mean that we had to lean over the other way. And then, of course, it's turbulent, so you're really, at the end, you're kind of going like this, And to make it worse, we had the hay coming off the truck, kind of hitting us in the face. Now, the hay trucks just kept coming. It was hay truck after hay truck. And about the fourth time a hay truck came by, my friend that was in the front, Chris, she just started to scream. It was, ah! looking back on that now, I think that she did exactly the right thing. Because she had obviously built up a bunch of anxiety about these hay trucks going by, and being tossed around in the wind and everything, and worry about landing in the ditch, all that type of stuff. And so what she was doing was she was allowing all of that energy that had built up inside of her to come on out. And that's the release part. That's the let it go part. And I think when we do that, we find our balance again. But the other thing that she did was she didn't slow down. She kept on pedaling. And as a physicist, I really appreciate that, because your bicycle wheels, when they're moving at a good speed, they act like a gyroscope. They actually help keep you balanced. So if she had slowed down with all that wind and turbulence going around, she might have actually tipped over. But moving along and keeping moving, keeping going, keeping the gyroscope going, she was able to stay up. And so I think that that's what we need to recall, that we can find our balance, we can let go of whatever is inside of us, find that balance, and when we are at that place of balance, then we get to be at a place of choice. And Viktor Frankl says in Man's Search for Meaning, he says, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. To choose one's own way. And that's what we teach in religious science. We teach that we are always a choice, that we get to define the life that we're going to live. It doesn't come for free, but it doesn't cost anything. We get to decide where we're going to create from and how we're going to create in our lives. And when we do that, when we make that choice to be balanced, we get a balanced life. So, this too will pass. That's number one. Number two, everything is relative. Number three, let it go and move on. And the fourth and last one is, I think, the most important one, which is align yourself with God. Align yourself with the principles that God is. That's what I'm saying. Align yourself with the love and the peace and the joy that God is. Now, sometimes, when I'm feeling particularly unbalanced, it can be hard to get to that place. What I need at that point is I need to have something that acts like a circuit breaker, to turn the crazy off. And one thing that I found for me that works really well to just get the crazy to shut off so that I can have that moment to get back into alignment with God, to get balance, is awe. Go find that place within you that brings you in awe of God again. The first time I can think back to being in awe, I was always a little scientist as a kid. And I remember being about 8 years old, laying on a field, looking up at the sky, and thinking about the infinite nature of the universe. Knowing that no matter how far I went in that direction, there was always farther to go. And I remember that as an 8-year-old bringing me to awe. But there are other ways for me to get there. If I go to the beach, I can be in awe. Or I go into nature, I can be in awe. Or I can go and look at a flower and be in awe. Scratch